welcome. It is January the 28th, 2025. Chiefs are headed back to the Super Bowl as of Sunday evening. So looking at a three-peat there.
So it's
Go
obviously
Chiefs.
it's obviously rigged.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Or not rigged, scripted.
so
That's different than rigged, right?
scripted is different than rigged. Yeah,
Scripted
is
is
it?
different.
I don't know. It might be the same
I,
thing.
I don't think so. I think scripted is better personally, because if you have rigged here and you have scripted here, rigged is like it doesn't matter what the other teams do, they can't beat the Chiefs. That's rigged, right? Scripted,
Okay.
they're in on it and they don't really have any
Yeah.
room to complain because they're in on it, because once it's their turn, it's going to be their turn.
Then they'll
Right?
get to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay, never mind. I almost said something that would have riled up all our audience.
Yeah.
I almost
mean, and
mentioned the WWE.
Yeah, we don't want to get people mad.
that's real. That's real.
Oh,
Donald Trump
okay.
and Logan Paul have been in the WWE, bro. No, but the thing is, like, it's obviously, I heard somebody say a couple days ago, or maybe today, I don't know. It's obviously rigged or scripted, because how else could you have the team with the most offensive yardage penalties against them and the most penalized defensive, what's his name?
Juwan Taylor.
Juwan Taylor. And like
he's
there's
actually
three
he's actually the second most penalized now. Somebody
second
passed him
most.
up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So like they've got three of, and I was trying to figure out the logic to it, but I think that they were being facetious, because they literally have the most offensive yardage penalties of anybody, and two of the top like penalized players in the entire league, I think. And I'm like, how does that make it rigged exactly? I'm not
Only
sure.
I was looking
Is it
up
to throw off the trail?
maybe, yeah, probably. I was looking up the NFL penalties last week, and Juwan Taylor was the only one in the top 10. But there's,
As of
a
last
decent
week.
amount as yeah. And like I said, I think he was second.
Jimmy, what's on your hat? I'm having a hard time. Oh, it's a penguin. Okay.
And it says slide.
It sure does.
I thought it said sued.
So
Slide.
slide. So it was a gift given to me by my brother, and Heath. So Heath, Jeremy, and I, when we were little kids, we used to hang out at the Penguin Park. And at the Penguin Park, we were playing on an old busted up fire truck that was part of the playground back in the day when they took old rusted vehicles and put them on a playground for you to play on.
I'm all
And
about it.
Heck yeah.
yeah, so we would play around in this fire truck, and one day Heath and I were in the driver's seat area, and Jeremy was down in the engine compartment where the engine had been removed. And we were trying to get this thing running, and we couldn't figure out why it wouldn't run. And Jeremy comes rolling up out of the engine compartment with this little plastic toy lobster. And he says, "Here's the problem. It's a lobster." And somehow Heath got the lobster and we were like 8, 9, whatever years old. And Heath has hung on to that lobster, still has it. And so when we go on our guys trips, Heath will bring that lobster with him, and we'll look at it and remember our time spent at Penguin Park. And so Jeremy got these hats for the three of us.
Had them made
to remember Penguin Park. No, it's the Gurin brand.
Okay.
And they just make it. And then we also have the shirts from Wonder Boy Apparel that have the penguin down the front and then says North Side. We all three have those shirts too. So it's kind of fun.
I was just looking through my wallet thinking I would like to find this item that a guy and I traded a number of years ago. And I just found this, which is
conservation card.
Ace's conservation card. And when we were at deer camp, I was like, dang it, I've got to get their info so that I can get their deer tags. And apparently I had the conservation card the whole time. Shoot. Okay, I'm going to see if I have this thing, and I'll show it to you if I can find it here.
I looked up, so I've got this here on the football database, 2024 NFL player penalty statistics. So Juwan Taylor is tied, is a three-way tie for second in number of penalties. So Laramie Tunsil of Houston has 17 penalties. And then the next is Deion Dawkins, Tyler Guyton, Juwan Taylor at 14 apiece. Then there's, another 20 or 25 people before the next KC guy makes it with 9. Joshua Williams. There's probably, let's see here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 dudes with 9 penalties. Then you go on down.
Did Juwan even have one on Sunday?
I
don't think he did.
I don't think he did. No.
It's got to be some kind of a record.
Then you got Wanye Morris at 8 penalties. But dude, we're not super penalized. Okay, let's go with teams. Okay. Is this loading? Kansas City Chiefs. I clicked on it. All right. The Chiefs have. Oh, where did it go? No, that wasn't.
New York Jets.
Oh, here we go.
Sorry, Gary V. 1,134 penalty yards this year.
Dang.
Chiefs are at 829 penalty yards, according to this one.
Yeah, this doesn't add it up.
So I'm not super duper into sports. So every time I sit down to watch a game, I feel like I'm throwing off the balance of, I am a little bit superstitious about it, because like I don't watch an entire Chiefs game. Like I watch some of every Chiefs game if I'm in a position to, but like I don't watch every Chiefs game. And whenever I like go to sit down to actually watch the entire game, I'm like, man, I should probably keep doing what I've been doing to just keep everything the same, superstitiously speaking. But then I went ahead and watched the whole game. So
kind of messed up your theory.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't mess up the theory. One year about I don't know, several years ago, the Chiefs did fairly well, but if I watched a game, they lost. And I was like, dang. I mean, I forget what year it was, but it was weird because I was like, I'm not helping them out at all. Every time I watch a Chiefs game, they lose. And
the Chiefs are good at messing with the stats, though.
I helped them out on Sunday.
Yeah, you lose your voice.
You did your part.
Actually, my voice held up pretty darn good, and I yelled more that game than I have at any other game this season. But I had been reading last week about Mitch Holtis's, tricks or like tips and tricks for keeping his voice strong. And one of the things he said was hydration is key. And another thing he said was that one of the reasons he stands for the whole thing is because it like keeps your diaphragm in the right like position for a more healthy like projection. And so I drank so much water during that game. I had to pee like 7 times probably.
It's like when you sleep.
I know. And 2, I full on caught myself like I was thinking to myself, I need to like have, my core in a good position as I'm yelling.
So you're not straining your vocal cord.
Yeah, so I'm pushing from my diaphragm to get the volume and the projection. Yeah.
That's funny.
And I did just watch a clip from the post-game press conference with old Bills coach. Doggone it, what's his name?
I don't know.
Jimmy, what's the Bills coach? You don't? It's not Bill Burr.
It is Dan. Oh, Josh Allen. No, Bills.
No.
Wait.
The Bills coach.
Bills coach is Sean
McDermott.
Sean McDermott. Yeah. Okay. So I did watch a clip of him from the post-game press conference, and he said it was loud. He said it was the loudest he's ever heard. He's like, I couldn't hear a thing. It sounded like jet engines. He's like, I know the NFL's loud, but it was the loudest I've ever heard in my entire career.
That's awesome.
Well, don't we have the record for the highest decibel?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
I wonder what the decibel.
42.2.
I wonder what the loudest decibel was on Sunday.
I don't know, but I wish that I wish we had raised the record.
I feel like it was in the 140s or something, wasn't it? At one point.
142.2 is the record.
142.2.
Yeah.
And we have it.
Yes.
It's crazy. So, okay. So a couple things I want to say about sports statistics that you more avid sports fans will possibly not care for.
Okay.
I actually was thinking as we were watching the game, like, I'm excited for the Chiefs to go all the way again.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like that first time that we won. Like the parade, everything. Like there's nothing like that, I don't think. So like getting this record to me is not as meaningful as the first time that we did it after however many years of not even coming close in my recollection of being a Chiefs, like being in Kansas City, basically the only places I've ever lived, you were a Chiefs fan, right? But, and not that I was like trying to jinx anything, but I was like, it's kind of too bad that there's not a statistic for, because they make, like they use statistics all over the map. They're like, if you're trying to make a point in sports, you can like obscure the statistics to make whatever point you want to make.
Right.
Like you can be like, well, they were the most this, and like narrow it down to this like very narrow statistic. And I was thinking like, but they don't have a statistic for like the Bills, the only team that ever stopped destiny from happening. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's
That's
no
because the Bills
statistic.
haven't done it yet.
They didn't do it. But even if they had prevented destiny, it wouldn't have counted as a statistic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's like beating them doesn't even mean as much as getting beat by them.
I think the Bills' destiny is to not ever go to the Super Bowl, or at least to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they've been.
They've been, but they've never won.
Which sucks for them. Like, bad.
Was it in 1990, 91, 92, 93? They went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
Lost all 4 of them.
Okay, so 4 years, isn't that crazy? So, okay, remind me of this, because this is one of the things that I thought statistically was like going to haunt Mahomes forever, and I don't think it did. So, he needed to win a Super Bowl before the Patriot. Well, I guess it did. Did Mahomes ever win a Super Bowl while the Patriots were the Patriots with Belichick and Gronk, the whole 9 yards? Do you know what I'm asking?
I know what you're asking, and I don't
like constituted.
Because it was 2018 when the Brady and the Bills beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game.
Brady and the Patriots.
I mean, the Brady and the Patriots. And then,
yeah.
And then that was his last year with them.
And then he went to the Bucs.
Then he was with the Buccaneers, and we played him.
So no.
So that's like that's one thing that he didn't do, and he can't ever go back and do. He never won a Super Bowl while the Patriots were constituted of what you think of as like the Patriots, like dynasty. Unstoppable.
And he never beat Tom Brady in a playoff game or Super Bowl game.
He didn't.
He played him twice. One in the AFC Championship game and one in the Super Bowl, and Brady won both of them.
And Brady won both times. Yeah.
So that'll be a tough
He did win a Super Bowl while Brady was still in the league.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But not while he was a Patriot and not while he was, So that's one thing that's like one of those unanswered, always will be unanswered. However, my other side of it is quarterbacks never play each other on the field. That's one of the oddities of football compared to like basketball, like everybody plays offense and defense. So Kobe played on the court with Jordan in his last few years.
Mm-hmm.
But two quarterbacks never actually meet each other. And the amount of sway that Peyton or that Mahomes has on the defensive activities is 0, isn't it? I mean,
Sure.
So football is just one of those, like,
I
you're
mean,
comparing
maybe not
quarterbacks, but you're
100%
not.
because the quarterback, I'm certain, is going to have good insight for the defensive coaches to
Yeah,
hear.
strategically.
Like a quarterback's going to look at what the offense is setting up and be able to see things quickly.
Well, and how your defense plays a team partly has to do with what you expect your quarterback to do coming back onto the field, like in some minor areas. Like
Yeah.
you don't
For us,
you
that's
don't
to
necessarily
win.
Yeah. So we were talking about sports cards,
Oh yeah.
or collector cards right before we actually started, and
yeah.
I was saying that we probably sold 100,000 baseball, football, tennis. I mean, like every kind of card you can think of from the 90s. We probably sold crates of them for like under $50. And I have two different ways of looking at this, and I'll give you two examples, and you guys can weigh in on why Dan is wrong about this. Okay. I know that there were probably hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars worth of value in those crates, potentially. I don't know because I didn't go through them. Okay. But to value something in dollars that you cannot recoup with your time, because I was never going to go sort through them, look for the values of those cards on an online app. I even did look at some of the apps. Some of the apps are actually like a couple $100 a year to get the sports card tracking apps to see the values of them easily. So looking at the value that might be in these cards and looking at the time and expenditure, I did not see any actual dollar value in doing the work of trying to sell those cards and get that value, that money. So to me, it was like, hey kids, if you want some of these, take them. We're going to take the rest of them and sell them for nothing to somebody who likes spending their time on trading cards, right? And then the second layer of it is, my uncle, who will never watch this, he's really into going to the bank and asking for the rolls, I'll buy all the rolls of quarters that you have, and gets the rolls of quarters and splits them open. And then he's like, I got this roll of quarters. And it's like, man, that's really neat. But when you're valuing that in dollars, there's no way that over the course of a lifetime, you can spend your time doing small things like that and actually profit in dollars. And so it again, to me, looks like an activity you do because of sheer pleasure, not because of dollars, because it's a very small, insignificant amount of money in the grand scheme of things. I'll give one more to support my thesis. We rehabbed a house and we threw away an entire dumpster load of old records, old books, and we only kept a choice few items. We kept firearms that we found, and we kept a pile of wheat pennies, and a pile, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of wheat pennies. And we actually, the kids and I cleaned, wiped them off and went in, and we figured out how many dollars worth of wheat pennies we had. And we had $30 worth of wheat pennies. And we spent absolute hours sorting them. Again, my dad was super into wheat pennies, and even at 3 times their face value, even at 100 times their face value, even at 1,000 times their face value for a few of these things.
But they're not.
We even have wheat pennies that are they're steel with a nickel coating on them, and there's very, very few of those left because they rust and they go away. We didn't have $50 worth of wheat pennies after all of that. Okay. So to me, it's like, nah, stop looking at this as a dollar. Like, stop saying like, ooh, I've got this valuable thing. You don't. You have a waste of time. Tell me why I'm wrong, guys. All 3 of those
No, you're
cases,
not.
I just say it's a waste
You're
of time.
100% not wrong.
Yeah, I say you're also 100% not wrong. The only time it becomes sensible is if you just enjoy messing with that stuff.
Yeah, sheer pleasure.
Yeah, it's just for fun.
Yeah, wheat pennies. The value is in having them. The
Yeah.
value is in finding them. Like, it's always
neat.
fun to see one come up in a handful of change, and that instant right there is the value.
Yeah.
Like,
Same with
that
star
little
notes. Do you guys ever
spark.
look for star notes?
Star notes?
What is a star note? Tell me about that.
A star note is any bill that is printed and it's an error. So basically when they're going through the printing press and an error happens that they catch and they have to destroy that bill, they will reprint that same bill with the same number on it and put a star next to the serial number. And that means...
Never heard of it.
You haven't?
No.
And that means that it's an error. And then there are websites you can go to and it'll tell you the rarity of that specific bill.
All right, I'm looking at the cash in my pocket right now.
So just be to the
one.
right of the serial number.
Not that one. Not that one.
Just to the right of the serial number.
I think it's to the right. It could be to the left. It's one way or the other.
Nope.
It could be on any level of bill.
Any level of bill. I'll go. I have some. I'll grab them.
Nope.
Okay.
I got none.
I'm looking.
Oh, wait. Yeah, nope. 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 Nope.
I have one. I have a bill with stars.
Yeah, I have some of those.
Nope. No star note. I have a couple of $100 bills I didn't know I had. That's interesting.
I think that's from when I paid you for something.
Is it? Huh. Okay.
I don't know. Do I owe you any money?
You know, you and I are not as good about this as our wives are.
I do owe you some money.
Do you?
Well,
What do you owe me
unless you
money
sold
for?
those tree stands to somebody else.
No, they're sitting out there. Yeah, you do.
Okay.
But you were going to take something out of what I owed you. You were going to take the broadheads out of the deer stands, weren't you? Or did I already pay you for the
look
broadheads?
at that.
Okay.
I think. Okay. No, what we did with the broadheads is that jacket.
Okay. And you got the jacket, right? I brought
I traded
it to you.
Huh? Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
Look at that.
Yeah, I still have the deer stands. So how rare is that one, Jimmy? Or
Well, you have to go to a website and you have to look them up and it'll tell you the rarity. Most of them are not worth, I mean, like to a collector, they might be worth a couple dollars more than the face value. But if they're rare, they could be worth double sometimes, just depending on how rare they are. But like the point you're saying, like, is it worth the time? Well, I have these are all star notes. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And So I've got 1, 2, 3, 360, 75, $375 of Star Notes. It's probably
Face
worth
value.
maybe, face value. Potentially could be worth $400. Is that worth messing around with? No.
No. But here's the
Because
here's my problem. Yeah, go ahead.
Also, it's fun to have them. So
Right.
let's say you decide I'm gonna do the work and figure out how much like these are worth and sell them, and then you don't have them anymore.
They don't have them.
And right now, it's
You
pretty
have
darn
something.
fun to just be like, hey, looky here.
Right.
These are neat. Did you know about this? I didn't know. I just learned something from you.
Right.
So here's my thing. If I had nothing else to do, I might start looking for Star Notes whenever I get cash. But I don't have in my brain a lot of bandwidth. And if I get on something like that, I would start like obsessing about it like people I know do. And it would just be a huge time suck of my mental energy. I'll show you one. I'll show you two. I'll show you one that I let's see. Okay. So that is, I'll have to actually turn it around and read it. Andrew Jackson. Okay. That's an Andrew Jackson. It's $25. Is that backwards?
No.
It is. No? Okay. It's a $25 roll of $1 Andrew Jacksons. When they started doing the presidential, after they did the Sacagaweas, you remember when we were kids, they made the $1?
Oh, yeah.
And they mandated that like all these different things had to accept $1 coins, all these vending machines and stuff in the country. Okay. So they started making these presidential runs and they were going to go all the way through. And so kind of for fun and kind of for the collector value, I started talking to Darcy and mine's collective grandpa Dykeman. So our wives' grandpa, he lived out in Pennsylvania, and I would buy 8 $200 every time they came out rolls. No, I would buy 8 rolls, which would be
$200.
$200, and I would send him 4 from Denver, and he would send me 4 from Philadelphia. So I would end up with $200 of P's and $200 of D's. Or no, I would end up with
100 of each.
And we did that for every time they came out. He would contact me or I would contact him and be like, did you get them? Yeah, I got them. And we would go and we would get these suckers. And so they would do every president all the way through. And about 2/3 of the way through, they stopped doing them because they were just like piling up in the mint and nobody was buying them. And so then they finished the series, but they only finished it in uncirculated mint grade and upon like request of coin dealers. And it ruined my only foray into coin collecting because foray?
Yeah.
Because I was like, the idea was we would each have like, what did I come up with? 100 D's and 100 P's of every one of them. And then when it was all completed, you could potentially, I guess, break them out, put them in sets, and sell sets and, maybe double your money. Who knows? Didn't work. It was a big crapshoot. But I do really like, so we stopped doing it and he died. I do really like breaking one of these open and giving them to kids. Like just for the sheer pleasure of doing it. I'll just rip one open and I'll just carry them around and I'll give them to kids and I'll like look at the president and be like this is this president. This is a $1 gold. It's not real gold, but and just like
It looks gold.
It looks cool. It's a cool like thing. And whichever president, when I think to do it, whichever president I have in my pocket, I'll do a little bit of just like tertiary research on them and like have a couple interesting things. And to
So
me,
you're
that's more
channeling your
interesting.
inner Dewey right there.
Yeah, a little bit. Does he do that?
He always has a coin in his pocket and he knows about it.
He doesn't give them away though.
No. Dewey
He's
Nash,
a
that guy.
Stingy son of a bitch right there.
Dude,
Who are we talking about?
This is this guy that lived down the road from our in-laws for a long old time. He's
Okay.
awesome. He is about as hillbilly of a guy as you could come up with. Huh?
He's a good guy. He's a funny guy.
And super great guy. And he collects coins. So Dewey, one of the great things about Dewey is you'll be standing by him and he'll have his hand in his pocket and he'll be jingling coins. And I ended up eventually, I would say, "What do you got in your pocket today, Dewey?" And he would pull out a handful and he'd start sorting through them. He'd say, "Well, that one's a 1945, nickel. That's whatever. Not that." And he said, "Well, this one right here. Man, I really like this one. This one is probably about I think that's about $3,600 right there.
What?
That one." Yeah.
So he goes to the bank all the time though. Does that same thing with the coins, gets them to give him everything that they've got, and just dinks around with stuff that.
Oh yeah.
That'd be fun.
I'm sorry.
If you had nothing better to do, it'd be fun.
I will always have better things to do.
Will you?
Then
I will.
Then buying coins.
For sure.
Man, when those presidential dollars were going, Jimmy and I used to get them and just spend them.
Yeah.
Because it's fun.
People love it. People love it when you pay them. You can pay a person less in presidential dollars than you would in any other currency. And they're like giddy about it.
Yep.
Like if you think like, I could pay the neighbor kid $50 to do this job for me, but I could also pay him $25 in presidential coins. So in some ways, you doubled your money.
That's
in some
right.
ways, your investment is paying off.
It is paying off. The thing is, I still have like several $100s worth of them, but I have spent them over the years. So here's the other one. Okay. This one is
Silver.
I don't know if that's coming through.
I can't make it out.
It's pretty glary.
There we go.
Silver American Eagle, 2004.
2006 Walking Liberty.
Oh, 2006.
It's a silver dollar.
That says
2006
American
Walking
Eagle.
Liberty. Silver American Eagle. Yeah, that's the back. Oh, that's because it's there. That work?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's uncirculated?
Uncirculated, and that's about a $45 coin. Okay. But think about this. I've had this coin since 2006 when I gave about $6 for it. Silver spot price is $30 right now, I think. And that's, that's not a terrible investment. I don't know what that is over the last 20 some years, but silver price could also just tank and American Eagle prices would go down with it.
Did you pick up some of that Trump crypto?
I did not.
Mm.
Judah did.
For
he's
real?
already sold it. Yeah, he's already sold it.
You make any money?
He made a lot more on Reddit, selling Reddit stocks. Judah made $156 so far this year on Reddit stocks trading. And that's with trading like $250 worth of Reddit stocks.
Huh.
He's made some good bank on Reddit this year.
That's fun.
Somehow. I don't know. I don't even understand exactly what that's about. But I don't know.
So what do you mean by that? He bought stock in the company Reddit, or he's on Wall Street Bets and is doing what those guys are saying to buy and sell?
No, actually buying and selling Reddit stock. The actual stock. Here, let's put it this way. Here pretty soon, I'm going to just be like, hey, Judah, I'm going to give you the keys to my investing account. You can take it. And I'm not even going to be worried about it. I'm going to be like, whatever. I'm just not that into the stock trading thing. But he loves it. He pays for Robinhood Gold, and he's
stuck with Robinhood. He didn't switch over to Fidelity when Robinhood was doing the goofy stuff.
He's not old enough. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even like. That was just stories. That's lore to him. He's literally not that old. He just turned 16, bro.
Yeah, I guess.
I think so. I used to go up to this jeweler's place. Yeah, I'm looking at this. It's about $45 for as much as $62 for the right
silver coin.
For that silver coin.
So you've profited $50 or so in the last 20 years.
But here's the thing: I like having a handful of these in my safe, just because. So I will probably never, like, I'll never cash them in.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're kind of neat.
They are.
I've actually, here, just a second. I'll grab another one, and I remember where I bought it, when I bought it.
You need to get some gum in that gumball machine.
I do. That's true. I don't know if you can still hear me, but
I hear you.
Okay, so you guys are going to find this one interesting. So this is the reason I can find these so easy is because I don't have very many of them. That's a 2007 Walking Liberty. See, she's walking.
Mm-hmm.
American Eagle. Okay. I think I paid 15-ish bucks for this one. You know where I got this?
Nope.
You were both there.
What?
You were both there. We were at a gun show
up at the KCI Expo Center.
2008 with Nate, your favorite brother-in-law. And I was kind of like at that time, like a little bit into like buying stuff. And I was like, I could blow $20 on some gun accessory or buy a coin. And I bought a coin that day.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. I may not even said anything to you about it, but that is where I got that one.
How much is that one worth?
Probably about the same. 2007 Walking Liberty.
But it's a circulated one.
No, not necessarily. Most of these. So here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about these. A silver dollar that's made in the modern era is never really going to be circulated.
Sure.
Because it's literally minted as a dollar. Like, if you went to buy something with it, it's just a dollar.
Right. You should do that.
let's see, 43. One Walking Liberty half-ounce silver. Wait, those are smaller. Yeah, 43, like $1 or $2 less, really the same, basically.
That's cool.
So here's the
Have
thing.
you ever have you ever thought about or considered buying those little silver bars that are like Legos? The little Lego block.
I don't think I've
Silver
seen
like the
them.
5 and 10 ounce ones.
Dan's like, you mean like this?
I haven't.
I think it'd be fun to buy like a gold bar.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
But I mean, those are like $10,000 or something.
You're talking stuff like that, right? Oh man, that won't pick up. Yeah. Silver bullion, 99.9. So here's what I would say about that. My take on that would be, for funsies, I would like to, because I would like to know this stuff. I would like to know about smelting stuff. I would love to make my own copper and silver bullion bars.
Yeah. I think
Purely
that it
for
would
the
be a whole lot of fun to.
Wouldn't it be? Like to make
Yes.
kind of your own, like your own imprint on them and stuff. And
Yep.
to me, that would
Absolutely.
be kind of fun. I think that
Yeah.
it would take a lot of energy to do it, but like getting some crucibles and getting some materials you could smelt down, that to me
I have
would be
crucibles.
fun. You do? I didn't know that.
I just bought them not very long ago because they're not big, but I needed to be able to pour lead into Evabel and Ryan's Pinewood Derby cars.
Mm-hmm.
I started out just like melting lead and dripping it with a torch, and that doesn't work very good because it cools so fast that you just end up with like it's not melted together down inside there, and so it's just like flaking off. But so I bought the little crucible things.
I don't remember exactly what I did when our guys raced those cars, but I ended up, because I didn't have lead on hand, I just did silver solder and melted it into like solder sticks. So they probably had some fairly valuable weights inside of theirs. I don't know what the ratio of silver and silver solder is, but
I don't either.
I know it's mostly silver.
So maybe next time I'm down there, I'll bring those things and we can melt down your silver dollars. And
so, could you melt copper in the crucibles? Because I have a bunch of copper. I've thought a lot of times about melting copper and brass down and making just bullion, just for kicks. I mean, I imagine it takes quite a bit of energy and cost dollars in propane to melt it down versus just selling it for scrap. Yeah, but
it'd be fun.
I have to say, I think it'd be kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
Or if you could come up with a way to do it with wood, to where you could set up like a chamber, like a wood stove that would jet the wood into a chamber to melt it, then that would be cheaper than propane.
And you're talking about going to the bank and sorting through coins is a waste of time.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, but here's the thing: like, I wouldn't be pretending like I was. Like, that's the thing that bugs me. It's like all these guys are like, "Oh, look at this! I found this quarter. It's silver instead of
nickel."
And you're like, "That's neat." And like, for sure, something to keep, but like, don't tell me that it's worth more than it would have been worth for you to go like do something profitable.
Right.
Like, don't kid yourself with that. Like, you come across it, Like, didn't you, Darcy, have some kid like spend a bunch of silver quarters with you where you were working one time or something?
No, it wasn't really like that. I just came in here to see if I could find that stuff real quick. I worked at Dairy Queen, and whenever I ran the register, I would pay attention more than anyone else did. And so I would swap out, I would keep change, and I would swap out regular coins for silver coins whenever they'd come into the register.
Okay.
But I don't have a bunch of them. I just grabbed to see what I have. I've got a few quarters and a few dimes somewhere. Hey, there's some wheat pennies. I just grabbed my extensive coin collection.
There it is.
It fits in the like about the bottom that much of a Crown Royal bag.
Nice.
Yeah. It's probably worth a grand total of no dollars. Because even most of my silver coins are the sandwich, like this one's 1974 $50. It's silver.
65%.
It's grubby. Yeah. Yep. And actually, I don't know if the silver quarters and things are in this bag. They must be somewhere else or lost.
Your kids probably spent them on the gumball machine.
Probably. Spent them at our Dairy Queen.
Your Dairy Queen.
Yeah. This is all Canadian and Philippine coins, I guess. That's not worth anything.
Yeah, that stuff's probably worth less than when you got it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's nothing here that's worth anything.
Did I already tell you on the podcast like that my uncle had bought these signed jerseys?
No.
I didn't.
You told me about that. Okay, so, here's one of my favorite coins. And this, Dan, was brought to light by your son to me. Do you know this coin? This is one of my favorite coins. In fact, that one's going in my pocket because I used to carry these in my pocket.
But that's a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, who is that? I can't tell.
Is that Bob Ross?
That's the Bob Ross quarter.
Bob Ross.
Yep. The old Bob Ross quarter.
The old Bob Ross quarter.
So some people think that it's like Frederick Douglass or somebody like that. I'm pretty sure it's Bob Ross.
It's one of those error coins.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you maybe I didn't tell you about this, Jimmy. So he went to some place where they have like a bunch of signed jerseys, and they were signed, I don't know, for some charity thing or whatever. And the way that they were selling them was they had these stacks of Chiefs jerseys, and you just paid one price for the jersey that you wanted. Like there was a few of those, like you could choose a player, or you could pay a price that was much lower, and it was like a mystery jersey out of the stack. So he was buying Chiefs jerseys for people for Christmas, and I was like, maybe you should. She's like, well, which one do you want? Just like point at the stack. And he's like, no, I think you should pick like to the lady. So she grabbed him like 4 jerseys or whatever. And Darcy, you're going to have to remind me who the player is, but one of them was the player who like the story was that he paid like 300 grand for the number.
Oh,
DeAndre Hopkins.
yeah, but he bought the number from
a guy on the practice.
Someone who we don't even know. Like no one knows who he is.
So the jersey he got was signed by. He was like, and then it was signed by the other dude because it was right.
Yes.
It was right at that time.
Nobody.
When that happened. So
that's funny.
He's got this jersey, and it's like, well, crap. This thing, like, so anyway, one of them was a player that his son-in-law cannot stand, and he's like, well, I'm going to give this one to Taylor Zook because he can't stand this guy, because it just as a joke, basically. And I was like, dude, you need to figure out how to get it signed by Hopkins too, because then you'd have like a one-of-a-kind jersey with a story if you could get both of their signatures.
That'd be pretty jersey, cool,
right?
But the name on the jersey would have the other guy.
Well, it'd be signed by both.
Sure.
Like it was just, these were like, I think they were just number and signature.
Didn't have the nameplate.
I don't think so. He didn't even show me a photo of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, but one of them that he got was Kelsey. And I think he paid $50 a jersey for them or something like that. But he sold the Kelsey on, I don't know, Facebook Marketplace for like, he just like set his price at whatever he spent on all the batch of them, and basically immediately sold the Kelsey jersey to someone.
Nice.
All of the other jerseys, he said, got verified. Like he called in or he texted in the thing and they were all verified. The person who bought his Kelsey jersey tried to do it and it wasn't verified. I don't know anything about sports signature verifications, but I guess the person texted him like for days about it. And he's like, I contacted them, they're getting verified. And
Justin Ross.
Last time I checked, he did get it verified. So
nice.
He spent all this money on jerseys. He sold his Kelsey jersey, and then he got all of his jerseys, all of his rando jerseys for free, basically. Again, I don't know. Like,
yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
it sounds like he had a good time doing it.
He enjoyed doing it, and he has some great stories because of it. Yeah. But all of that stuff to me is just kind of like, I don't know. We're still talking about this. I've been yammering about this forever, but sorry.
It's fun. We're an hour in talking about sports.
It's basically a sports podcast.
Well, I mean, it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On those baseball cards, I'll go back to those baseball cards for a second. I had two players in that era that were like my players. Bo Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
anything Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Like anybody else. And oh man, now I'm spacing on his name.
What team?
Royals.
George Brett?
No. Oh, I'm gonna think of it here in a second. He had curly hair. He had a curly mullet, and he shot himself a couple of years ago in the leg in Vegas with his concealed carry gun. What's that dude's name? I just thought he was the coolest guy ever.
What position?
Back
Brett
then?
Brett Saberhagen.
Oh, Saberhagen.
I almost said Brett
Saberhagen.
Saberhagen.
I didn't know he
Yeah.
shot himself.
Yeah, I think it was Saberhagen. Well, I don't know if he shot himself or he
you
discharged his firearm.
Brett Saberhagen.
Yeah, he was
Brett
fun.
Saberhagen.
I could go out to the garage right now and find both of those, like multiple of both of those guys' cards.
Dang.
That's all I kept whenever I sold all my baseball cards. I know we've talked about this. I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast. But when I was a kid, I collected baseball cards, and there was this family across the street from us, and his mom collected baseball cards. You remember this story?
I remember the story.
So his mom collected baseball cards as
Are you
kid.
talking about John?
John Haskell.
Haskell. My roommate in college.
So yeah. So his mom collected baseball cards when we were neighbors. And mine and my next door neighbor and all my friends, our baseball card collection consisted of whatever we could find in the, wax packs or whatever. Like if we could spend a couple dollars down at the card store, because there was one we'd ride our bikes to, and whatever cast off cards we could get. Whereas hers, she would seek out like these valuable cards and things. She'd go down to the card shop and she'd actually buy the graded cards in the hard, Lexan sleeves and stuff. And she had like, obviously this is the mid 90s. Things were different. She had a quote unquote valuable card collection.
Yeah.
But she also bought, plastic pack cards and would go through those and only keep certain ones. And so she would give us cards all the time. She'd give us little handfuls of cards all the time because she'd buy cards every week. And most of the time she would just keep a fraction of them. Anyway, so that was my baseball card collection was worthless from the get-go. But I had an entire dresser drawer full of baseball cards. So anyway, one day we're down at the end of the street playing baseball, and I was up to bat, and obviously we had, top quality equipment that consisted one of a bat with an electrical tape handle. So, I mean, I'm going to say that was a contributing factor in me releasing that bat on my backswing and nailing John Haskell right in the forehead with a metal baseball bat. Split him open real good. Like knocked him to the ground. I don't think it knocked him out, but it put him down immediately.
You couldn't knock
he's
him
holding
out.
his face. You did not know John Haskell when I knew John Haskell. You have a very skewed,
when I knew him.
You have a very skewed version of John Haskell in your mind, because when I knew John Haskell, he was much littler than me and he was scrawny. And somehow, when he turned, I don't know, we moved away.
10.
We moved away when he was probably 14. No, we moved away when he was probably 10. Because he's younger than me, and I was 12 when we moved away. So that dude, I don't know at what age he turned into a giant, like an actual
giant.
an actual giant. But this is back before that. This is back when he was 9, 10 years old.
Maybe that
and
bat to
split
the
his
head
head
messed
open.
something up in his brain and made him grow real big.
Maybe I turned him into a giant. It's like Spider-Man, kind of. Yeah. So I split his head open. He had to go to the doctor and get stitches. And now there's like some flawed logic here because, like I just told you, his mom bought baseball cards all the time. But all of us kids had this idea of their family as being really poor. Like we thought that they were really poor. I mean, we were all pretty poor, but we thought they were really poor. And
They were buying
so,
baseball cards.
well, so we felt so bad that all of a sudden they have doctor bills caused by our baseball game. So we all went through all our stuff, and one of our moms was having a garage sale pretty soon. And so we all put stuff in the garage sale to sell so that we could give money to his family to help pay the doctor bills. And so I sold all my baseball cards, except I did keep like 3 pages of Royals cards. And some lady came by and like bought the whole drawer full for like $20 or something.
So two things. One, I just found my card that I had that I thought was like the shiznit. Brett Saberhagen. You have that one?
Oh yeah.
You do?
I don't have it. What brand is that? Fleer?
That is a Fleer. 89.
Yeah, I kept Tops.
So the
I didn't have
Fleer
very many
89 Saberhagen is now up for sale at, I'm not going to say worth, up for sale for $21.58. So
What?
if I had focused on that, I could have a card online right now for sale, and I could be asking $21.58. Notice I never said worth $21.58. I said I could have a card for sale.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Tops. See if I had one. I don't recognize any of these as being like ones that I had. Wow, he was still pitching in 99. I didn't know that. No. I thought I had one of him batting. Why would I have one of him batting?
Did he play in the National League?
I don't see any of him batting in here. Wait, Royals. I mean, there's cards that are graded cards up to over $100. But again, I could have something that I could have for sale for $100 that I would never sell. Like, if you kept it for that long, you would never sell it. Okay, 2 stories about John Haskell, the midget that you refer to, the giant in my life. So we went on a trip to Abilene Camp, fall retreat, and myself and I think my cousin and Tim Blanchard and John Haskell drove in my Saturn car across the state of Kansas to go out to camp. We didn't all know each other that well. I mean, I knew my cousin fairly well, but we stopped at the first gas station on the turnpike coming back from Topeka, right?
Mm-hmm.
We went in there, we got some snacks, and John Haskell got 2 Dove chocolate caramel bars and a quart of chocolate milk or strawberry milk, one of the two, right? And we get on the road, and like he downs that chocolate milk and eats those Dove bars. And about 10 minutes later, he starts just gassing the place. Just like absolutely gassing the place. And I don't know how far it is between the Turnpike gas stations, but before we get to the next Turnpike gas station, he's back there like dying. Like we have the windows down, and we have a guy that's like, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say he's well over 6'6", isn't he?
Oh,
He's
oh yeah.
enormous.
He might be like 6'8".
And he looked like his face looks like his forehead and everything looks like a giant, like somebody with like.
That's from what I smashed him in the head with a baseball bat.
Because of the baseball bat. He
Yeah.
has this thick forehead, and just like he's a crazy guy, and he's just going after it. And you're like, there's no way his underwear are not full right now of something. And we're like, what happened to you, dude? What is going on? And he's like, oh, he's like, we gotta stop. I'm lactose intolerant. We like pull into the next one, and he goes and just destroys a stall. And I mean, he is in there hollering and wailing from both ends. We get back to the car, and he's still not feeling good at all. And we're just like, what were you thinking? And he's just like, I don't know. I like chocolate bars.
And chocolate milk.
And chocolate milk. What are you talking about?
Oh,
When we were in college, I roomed with him in college, and we may have at least one time tied him down and shaved his head just for kicks. Like 6 of us, because he wasn't, for as big as he wasn't like very aggressive.
Aggressive. No.
It wasn't aggressive at all.
No.
And I thought we had a really fun year of school rooming together. But then we left school, and he never talked to me again, and he didn't invite me to his wedding. And I've always wondered if I just like straight up scared the dude, like for real. Possibly.
Let's call him.
I should call him sometime and be like, John, you didn't invite me to your wedding. You haven't talked to me since college. What's the deal, dude? Are you
I thought
afraid of
you
me?
would used to.
You hate me?
I thought you used to run into him every now and again when he was working at Walmart.
I don't think so.
Remember when he was working at Walmart over there in Raymore?
Was that before or after college?
That was after.
It was after college?
Yeah, because that's when, like, I wouldn't have ever known that, except that was like when I was living with you guys.
Maybe he pretended to be that we were friends so that I wouldn't hurt him or something. I don't know.
Maybe. Dude, we were mean to that kid, kind of.
We
back in the
weren't
day.
genuinely
Yeah,
mean
you
to
hit him in the head with a baseball bat.
Yeah. Before that, though, he was like kind of the annoying little kid. And so we'd like chase him and stuff. And I can just about picture it right now in my head. He wasn't very fast. Like, we were faster than him. So we'd threaten him with something like a snake or a spider or something. And he'd take off running, and we'd be chasing after him behind him. And all of a sudden he would just throw himself down on the ground and spin over on his back and just start flailing his arms and legs and doing like this like just hysterical laugh slash growl, like it was like, which made it hard to stop doing because that was funny in and of itself.
Hmm.
I'm trying to find him. All I'm finding is a dude on Facebook that looks more like Paul Hudson than John Haskell, and those dudes don't look at all the same.
No.
Where are you, John? Dude, I literally have no idea what happened to that dude. He never. I don't know. I don't know if he just.
He's
didn't
probably
think we were
your
friends or
neighbor.
what. He could live next door, and I wouldn't even know it. I don't know. Oh, dude! Before we get off of here, I gotta tell you this. The other day, I got to have a pretty extensive conversation with the sheriff's deputy because of something.
Okay.
So our road is a east-west gravel road, and
Yeah.
my wife and I go walk down the road and back up, like all the way to the east to the intersection and back, and it's about a 2.6 mile walk or jog or however fast you do it, 2.6 miles.
You walk
So
to which intersection?
to
You go
Cleveland.
east to
Mm-hmm.
the
We
intersection of
cross
223rd and Cleveland.
yeah, and we cross all the way over there. So there's a mile-ish between, and then the section from our street to Prospect. So we walk down there, and there's a Crown Vic that comes through, and they're coming to Shantytown next door, which I think is like drug sales or something, because people show up there walking, and we're out in the country. People show up there on scooters, like under 50cc scooters, on mopeds, and they all show up on mopeds in the like absolutely worst moped weather you can think of. Like in the last 2 weeks, they've showed up on mopeds and scooters there.
Wow.
Ain't no reason why you're
And
showing up
at
unless you're
all
buying
times of
something.
the day or night, right?
All times, yeah, absolutely. So, a car comes through to the coming east to west as we're going out, and I look in the like people drive by, and we're just like, I don't know, I don't think a whole lot about it because a lot of weirdos do show up there all the time. So we walk all the way down to the end, and there's like several hills till we stop, and then we turn around, we walk back, and there's this Crown Vic parked about a third of a mile from our house, maybe a little more, on the east side of the intersection of Prospect and 223rd. And I'm packing heat all the time out here. And I'm like walking toward this car and thinking like, I don't really want to like surprise these people because they're probably shooting something up or something in this car on the road, would be my guess. We get about 75 yards from the car, and we can see this car absolutely rocking and rolling, dude. I mean, it's it's romping, dude. Like they need to get the shocks checked on this car. It's rocking back and forth so much, and we're just like, oh my gosh. If we keep walking, they're not going to be done by the time we get there. And and several times during the activity, we've seen the profiles of, like, we're close enough that we can see the profiles of their silhouettes going from sitting up to not sitting up, right? So I call the sheriff's department. I'm like, I don't know if this is like something to call the sheriff's department about, but like, there's a car, like, I'm trying to walk to my house. There's a car on the road 100% sure, without seeing what's going on in the car, they're doing it. Like right there in a public roadway between me and my house. And the sheriff lady is like, yeah, we're going to send somebody out there. So while I'm on the phone with her, I'm like, looks like they're sitting up. Okay, they're wiping the windows because they're pretty fogged up. They're wiping the windows off. Okay, now they're actually driving away. And like I tell them where they're driving to, take a few pictures of the car. They're like, can you see a license plate number? No, there's no license plate on the car. It's got a temporary tag in the window. Anyway, like an hour later,
Soggy
a sheriff
temporary
guy.
tag.
Yes, a milky, soggy temporary tag in the window. He calls back, one of the sheriff's deputies. He's like, yeah, we came and checked it out. We didn't see anybody. I'm like, well, yeah. He's like, I've been told by sheriff's deputies before that there's 1,500 miles of road, and there are 3 to 5 sheriff deputies on the road at any given time in this county. So like the likelihood that you call them and they're going to like respond in any kind of timely manner is like very, very low. But he was like, well, I know the location, and off and on it always has weird stuff going on. And he's like, I hate to put it on you, but every time you see something weird, you need to just call the sheriff's department, because we're not like, we've got a lot of county to deal with, and we don't like, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the county, and we can't spend a lot of time focusing on it, because as of yet there's nothing like super duper like what he started an investigation into people coming and going. Like, unfortunately, you just can't. So he's like, I don't want you to be a nosy Nancy, but you need to just call us literally anytime you see something weird going on that we could actually potentially respond to, call us. And I'm like, so like anything, like dude next door is in a shipping container in the backfield at 2:00 in the morning. He's like, unfortunately, we really can't do anything about that. Like, that's not illegal to be, you know what I mean? Like, it's weird, but it's not illegal. He's like,
Yeah.
it pretty much has to be happening on the public roadway for us to have an excuse to make contact with these people. Anyway, it was just a weird. And then the day before that, there was actually a probably stolen truck ditched like a quarter mile south also, meaning a truck that looked quasi wrecked with both of the side windows broken out. I mean,
Shady part of town you live in.
Yeah, we definitely live in a shady part of town at this point. And it's not even town.
You should
it's
move
just
north.
the county. Yeah, I'm sure there's less shadiness going on up there.
Yeah, nothing weird happens over here in Kearney.
Nothing weird ever happens in Kearney.
Don't join Kearney Chaos.
Oh, is there a Facebook page for that?
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I told him, I was like, I mean, I could point my security camera over in that direction and start just writing down license plate numbers of vehicles that come and go every day. He's like, I mean, you can, but like, honestly, like, for as much as like, I don't know, you talk to police pretty regularly, Darcy. Like, for as much as like show people having to like sneak around to do their illegal activity, there just ain't a lot that the police can do if you're not doing it on public property.
Right. It's getting worse and worse too. I mean, there's it's getting harder and harder for the police, I think.
Yeah.
On a unrelated, other than police and stolen vehicles note, I got a message the other day saying that, um, in regards to my truck that was stolen a couple years ago, they basically they had a name for who they figured probably stole it because they left their phone in the truck. Um, so
Unless that was
and
stolen.
it was the phone of a known criminal, like another
Okay.
of this some guy that they were like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, we know of him. It's like, he doesn't have an address. Like, we'll just, if we catch him at something, this will be another thing that'll, stack up against him, basically. Anyway, so it's been 2 years or whatever, year and a half, uh, since it was stolen. But apparently that dude offed himself at some point here in the not too distant past.
Dang.
So the the note was basically, well, probably won't be any prosecution happening on your truck.
You're like, oh man, that's really too bad. He didn't happen to mention where my jack was.
Where my stuff is.
It was a really nice jack, and I had a really nice chainsaw. And no, okay.
Oh man.
Well,
Anyway. Yep. So that's over.
I actually found the thing the other day from the Kansas City Police Department. You probably recognize that
From
type of deal.
uh-huh.
I called them, and she was like, "What are you wanting to find out?" I was like, "Well, here's the case number." She's like, "Well, are you wanting to report something further about it?" I was like, "No, I just curious if anything had come in from that, No, nothing's showing up. I'm like, "Would they call me if my handgun came in?" And she's like, "Yeah, they would call you, I think." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" "Yeah." I'm like, "Is it okay if I just call back a few more times over the years?" She's like, "Yeah, it's fine." I don't think they would call
Yeah,
me.
I
Would
don't
they?
know if they do. So we have a friend who had a pistol stolen out of his house. Like his
Mhm.
door was kicked in, and they um they stole a whole, like, one of those little floor safes that was just sitting in the bedroom, not bolted to the floor.
Mhm.
Stole the whole thing, and it was a little old revolver in there. And it was gone for maybe a year and a half. And all of a sudden one day he gets a phone call. But I'm pretty sure the reason he got the phone call is because the police found this gun and ran the serial number on it, and it came back registered to him.
Mhm.
And the cop that was there finding this thing was like, oh, I know that
I
guy,
know that guy.
and just dialed him up.
Yeah. I'll probably call a few more times because, I mean, why not? It was a
I'll
nice
ask
gun.
I'll ask that guy if I'll ask if they call, if, like, they bring people
Yeah.
in very often. That was
I know
that was Wes Harris got it stolen, and Kellgren was the one that found it.
my 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 uncle's son-in-law saw his golf clubs in police custody in Lawrence, called his father-in-law and was like, "Are your golf clubs missing?" And he went and looked in his garage and was like, "Yeah, they are. And this other stuff." And like, dude got his stuff back before he realized he had been robbed.
Nice.
About 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, kind of funny. All right, we wrapping it?
I think so. Need to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
I got to work tomorrow.
Yep.
Ugh. All right.
That's another show. We'll see you next
Wow.
week.
See
And
ya.
then we'll be 1 week away from the Super Bowl.
Oh man.
Dude, okay, real quick.
Okay.
Can you do live reaction to a football game? Like, can you just run a live and have the football game? I'm sitting here pointing at the TV that's like
That's
in
behind
your
me.
background. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. I don't think you could have the sound on.
Okay. Maybe we should do a
But
live during the game.
I'll look
Just
into
have
it.
phones on. See what the deal is on that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even have to
Jimmy's
be
gonna
anything.
be out of town.
Where are you gonna be? Well,
I'm gonna be in
I
Florida.
don't care where. You can't be on
I can pull
Riverside.
it up. I might be at a sports bar or something though.
There you go. That'd be cool.
With Rennie.
Are you doing it at your house? Theoretically?
At my house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or are you going somewhere?
No, I'll be here.
Okay. We don't have great luck with that, but maybe we'll come. I don't know. I guess I just invited myself to your house.
You're totally welcome. I was contemplating inviting myself over to Jimmy's house, even though he's not going to be there because he's got a big old TV.
You sure can.
Dude, we should all invite ourselves to
You guys should just have a party at my house while I'm
We
not
could
here.
Riverside him into his own party at his house.
That would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I figured Joel and Jared might come.
Invite the
At
crew.
your house. Yeah,
Hey, might as well. It is a nice TV.
it is. Yep. Although we have more seating at my house.
I don't know if you have more seating. I have plenty of seating. Some of it's just at the kitchen table.
Well, we have more couches and things.
There you go.
All right.
All right. That's tonight.
Guys.
All right.
Night, guys.
See ya.
Later. All right. If you're not getting off here right away,
Mine already uploaded. Mine says it's done. That's
good job.
different. You're what?